everybody. So as you can tell, I do more than just videos with RC and models. I also actually dabble in trains. I don't have a layout set up yet. This is something I picked up yesterday from Marketplace. A local fella whose father passed away, and his father had just a ton of trains and armor models and a few aircraft models, and he was letting them go at really good deals. I spent between $1,000 and $2,000 over the past like 6 months buying a large portion of the collection. Probably really close to enough to actually have bought the whole collection, but that's okay. I wouldn't have room for it anyway. But I've been kind of wanting a like a DCC ready locomotive, as well as a DCC, and I wanted some passenger car stuff. So I got a really good deal on a DCC train, which I will do a video on later. It's let's see, the other one is, what is that? It's an EMD7 A and B from Import Models, I think it is. Let me actually look at that real quick. Bring it over here. Broadway Limited Imports, as well as this guy right here, and the Broadway Limited Imports EMB7. It's A and B, and then the this guy right here, which, as far as I know, was not converted to DCC. I don't think this has the board in it. I have not checked. He did not check. And I got 5 Pullman cars to go with either this or the other one. I will hook them up with the other one, because the other one actually has the baffles for the passenger car thing. So this will end up getting some other stuff to it now. So yes, it's kind of when I end up doing my layout. Obviously, I'm not going to do like a stationary layout for HO. After I get my house, we are going to do the layout is actually going to run through the walls and along the walls and everything, just kind of transporting around the house. And that is going to, since the EMD and this are in the same livery as are the Pullman cars, which I'm going to go get. I want to try and get at least 3 more Pullman cars from him. They're all in the same livery, and that is Great Northern. The only other HO stuff I have a couple of dummy engines. One is not in paint at all. I have a couple of undecorated ones, and one that I paint. One that came with Burlington Northern, and one that I painted in Burlington Northern. And again, they're just dummies, and I have seen Burlington Northern hooked up along with Great Northern, but I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Like I said, they're just dummies. So both this and the other locomotive set, they are going to get some weathering, so they are going to look a little, I'm not going to go too bad, like, they're all rusted out and beat up and everything, but I am going to, make them look used. I have a whole bunch of ammo by MiG and AK Interactive weathering products, as well as ammo by MiG paints for weathering, Vallejo paints for weathering and whatnot. So the reason I have this out is to remove some parts from this. Some of the purists might be like, oh my god, no, electric screwdriver. No, this is for electronics, fine electronics. I do electronics repair, including PlayStation. I do electronic repair and modding, including PlayStations 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As well as repairing other electronics, DVD players, computers. I actually repaired a $3,500 drone. In fact, if you look elsewhere on the channel, the videos that you see are from that drone, and all but one are after the repairs. I had to replace several components on the boards, and they were all surface mount. Mostly diodes, a couple resistors, capacitors, some other stuff. So yeah, no, this is not going to script anything out. This is meant just for that. So let's start out by taking a look here. As you can see, the gentleman who had it had opened it and put the body on the chassis. Some of the kits that I had got from him, had been started. Some are real close to completion. Usually that's a no-go for me. But this gentleman's father, if I remember correctly, is a dental technician. He did something with the dentist's office, and his work was beyond immaculate. I mean, he true craftsman. When it came to model building in every sense of the word. He had his at least his craftsmanship abilities for scratch building stuff way exceeds my own by a long shot. His building ability just absolutely amazing. Way cleaner than me. I've been complimented a lot on my build qualities and stuff. Eventually I'll get some of my builds out here, and I'll put some up here and do videos so you can actually see them kind of up close. I've been complimented, but I'll tell you what, this guy, wow. He has the attention to detail, the ultra fine motor skills. I have good fine motor skills, but they just do not compare. He is, compared to him, I'm I would definitely put myself amateur level. But I mean, let's move on to this here. Like a good example, here's some of this stuff. Here, let me grab a skewer here. These right here, these eyelets are actually open, and I apologize for the light. I have no way to, I'll have to work on actually getting that. That's from the window. I'll have to work on getting something additional to cover that. Like I said, right now I live in a trailer, so. But these eyelets are open, and this gentleman would have been able to actually put these all in and somehow never ever break them off. That, he had a lot of kits in the boxes with stuff that tiny on it, and he never broke them. Then klutz. I mean, he had stuff a little larger than that. Here comes klutzy me, and I actually broke some off, so I actually have to remake some out of wire or 3D print them. Anyway, this actually has some interior. I can't tell if that guy's there. There's a guy. I think he's had a couple little guys on him. They're unpainted, but that will end up changing because I will end up painting them eventually. But this is a beautiful locomotive here. Now I got to be careful. I don't want to damage this in any way. But let's see, how do we get this bad boy apart here? That is okay. That just goes there. So we have that. I know that's just held on with double-sided tape. The weight on this is quite a nice kit. Oh, okay, there we go. So yeah, we have to. There, I see. I do not want to break this. This is not cheap. This is not your, Tyco, train set stuff or Lionel, which Lionel used to be amazing, but yeah, not so much anymore. Let's go ahead and open this up, see if we can use screwdriver bits from this. Let's grab this, and hopefully you guys don't get a blood and gut show from my finger. I'm looking for maybe a pair of tweezers. We'll go ahead and use, because this has, actually, you know what, we'll use, this one is less likely to cut me or stab me and break off stuff, so we'll go ahead and use that one. Let me see what else I have here. Do I have my tweezers? I do not. I don't know what happened to them, and that is okay. Alright, so let's go ahead. You might need that magnet. That is actually a magnet there, so we're going to hang on to that. We'll grab the screwdriver here, and let's go ahead and get a flathead bit in here. nice little screwdriver. It's got a light on it. So we're going to go like this. And let's see if we can... I'm really not wanting to break anything here. So let's do... Okay, well, I released one of the trucks, and that's okay. As long as I'm not breaking it. Alright, here is... Let me see how this works here. Okay. So yeah, that is actually... I got that released. Let's come over here and release this one. Okay, unfortunately, I just actually broke that locking tab. That is very unfortunate. We are going to stop before I do any further damage. Luckily, that one tab should not be any kind of an issue. But we shall see here. Oh, okay, that's what that is. That's no problem. Let me go ahead and just do a little bit of research here and come back. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Here I am. So it was actually really easy. All I had to do was just remove these, which just press fit, and then it actually slides right off. Now, as far as what I broke, it's not a big deal. It might affect resale value a tiny, tiny bit. But it's this right here. Just that little tab. And it's not broken off completely. And this is likely styrene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually bring up some Tamiya. Or actually, I don't use Tamiya cement. This is a Tamiya bottle I used to. But now I literally fill with just straight MEK, which is the primary ingredient in Tamiya cement. The two ingredients in Tamiya's extra thin are MEK, methyl ethyl ketone, not the MEK substitute that you can get at, the orange box store, that kind of, we call it homeless despot around here. So not the MEK substitute you get from there. But look at this exquisite detail on this. I've never had anything this nice as far as functional locomotives. I've had, higher end or medium range plastic undecorated dummies, similar in detail, but still not quite as detailed as this. This is crazy. And yes, there are a couple of guys in there, but it's not a full interior. I may go ahead and 3D print an interior for this guy later. I will definitely end up like panel lining this and adding, some soot and maybe some rust streaks, but nothing too over the top. This is just really, really nice. So as you can see here, this right here is not a DCC board. This is a diode board to allow you to run this train on DCC. So to convert this over, which I do not have a DCC board right now to throw in here unless I were to take it off one of the other trains, which I'm not going to do. Although it would be tempting actually if I could get both of those out and into here. I would actually consider doing so, because the other one is going to be pulling passenger cars, and the passenger train I want just running through my house, whereas the freight I want to be able to operate. But I may go ahead and I'll look into that in the future, or I may just get the DCC board for this. They're not that expensive. They're like $30 for the cheaper ones, and like $60 I think for the actual Digitrax This right here got a little separated. Let me see if I can get that put back on. That I am going to have to actually separate this. That's okay. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. So this bugger right here, and I know in order to actually convert it, you have to remove this board. So let's actually do a partial right now on that. So let's go ahead and put this in there. Let me see, is that one going to be the right one? Yeah, that's it. Alright, so we are going to go ahead, let's do this. Put that on a magnetic board along with that. Wish I had my tweezers right now. I do not know where they're at, which is sad because I have like 4 or 5 pair running around here somewhere. But it happens at tweezers, so unfortunately. But a couple of things, yeah. Let me go ahead and unplug those. Come on, you bugger. There we go. And that's kind of isolating there, and that's fine. I'm just trying to get that off to the side. So what you do is you pull this board off along with the lights, and basically plug into the new one, or generally actually what you do is you plug it into here. And it's just an 8-pin connector. I will put these back together in a sec. But it's an 8-pin connector, but you do have to replace these lights, because once this goes onto DCC, so this right here provides like a constant power to these, and these resistors more down, but they're going to get 12 volts. So you're going to have to take care of that. There's also a ground strap that I've read that's going to one of the trucks, one of the wheels, that will cause a short, and that is definitely not something that you want once you get it converted over. I do not like this design. I would prefer these to be soldered, so that is actually something I will end up doing, is soldering this stuff together, because that's just, you know, a way better way of doing things. I need my glasses and more light. Let's go ahead and turn some more light on here. There we go. And let me put some glasses on here. Let's go ahead and twist that and put this bugger off to the side. Messing with avionics repair and such, this is not super duper tiny or overly complicated for me. Just, you know, having dealt with the electronics. I'll put this back in here. Make sure this goes the right way. This is, because it's running the same traces. Now where the hell did that go? Oh bugger, look at that. I kind of lost that little piece there, it looks like. Let me see if it'll shake. No, oh, there it is. It's over here next to my mouse. Let's go ahead, get this going. Perils of getting old, having to wear some kind of magnifier sometimes. I'm going to get I'm not going to do LASIK. I really don't like the idea of them shaving my cornea off. That just, yeah, it kind of creeps me out. But, you know, I think there's definitely one of those implants is probably going to be in my future. The LASIK implant. and it won't really do much for my. It'll correct everything that I want corrected. I do ride a Harley. I have a couple of them, and I really wearing glasses with that is just not fun, because I either can see the dashboard on the bagger. I gotta make a choice to see the road or see, all the controls and everything clearly. And what do you think I'm going to choose? I'm going to choose being able to see the road. Which, I mean, I can lean backwards to a point out on the open road, but, usually if I'm in town, that means I can't really lean back. And that's not really good from a safety standpoint. Because, you kind of got to stay in there up front for maneuverability. Alright, where is that? These are... Alright, so these were supposedly... I guess they are. Thought these were flathead, but they're not. They are Phillips. And as you can tell, they have some Loctite or something on them, which I'm not worried about. I don't have any blue. All I've got is like more permanent. I'm not going to use that on here. Just because, I mean, I don't know. It may end up coming apart in the future. It may not. But that's quite all right. I really don't need to go there. There is a... supposedly there is screws at each end, but I cannot find them. So I'm willing to bet, actually, yep, there they are. And they're kind of long, so we'll get these. Put that here. Bring this around. Be really careful with this. This is really kind of a nice, I guess this is a nice locomotive. Like I said, if the DCC stuff will properly fit from the other locomotive, I'll probably go ahead and swap it over. But maybe not. It just kind of depends. One thing. Come on, let's get the weight off here. Don't need to take this completely off. Like that. Come on, buddy. No. I may actually have to. You know what? Let's just do this here, because that is. I don't want this board supporting, all the weight of the weight. I can get as leave everything else attached and just pull the weight out. What I'm trying to do is just get this back on. So I can do this, wiggle that bad boy out of there. There we go. This is the problem that we had right here. So let's start out getting this in there. Here we go. And get that lined up. Is that square or is that? Okay, that looks square to me. Alright, so let's get this in here. Get that lined up because it was like one way only. There we go. And there's that. And how does that go on there? Okay, let's see. Let's look at the other end and make sure. Yeah, okay, I got this right. Excellent. Oops, I don't want to lose that. back on there. It actually holds that in. Yep, same way there. So we can see that now. Now those have the proper. So it's not a complete captive because those have to, for like the curves and stuff. So there we go. That's back together now. I can go ahead and carefully slide the weight back in. There we go. There's that, and that's beautiful. All right, so we'll go ahead and secure that back in. So the Pullman cars, they are really light. They're by Rossi, and they're really lightweight. They're actually too light from the model, like the standards that have been put out. And I am going to either, if I find them, I will buy the interiors for them. But if not, I will end up just. If I can find them, I will download and 3D print them, or I will design them myself and 3D print them. And I will be having to add weight because they should be at least 6 ounces, around 6 to 7 ounces, and they are in the neighborhood of like 2, which is just way, way, way too light. Those are not going to end up staying on the track as they're getting pulled around. You would think that, oh, lighter weight, it's going to be easier to pull. No, because they don't pull as smoothly, and that causes problems. Put that there. And go ahead. So anybody wondering, this is actually a really nice screwdriver. It's not very expensive. It's less than 20 bucks on Amazon. There are a lot of brands, names like it. They look just like this. It's the same number, but they claim 30 pieces here, 10 pieces there, whatever. But, it just depends how they count them. But the reality is they range in price from about $15 to $75. They're all identical. They're all the same Chinese manufacturer. The only difference is the box. Even the number of pieces is the same. They just count it differently, so the number of pieces listed are all the same. They're the same damn thing. If you want to spend the 75 bucks, or the 30 bucks, go right on ahead. I went with about $16. So now this is all secured back together. I just mainly wanted to kind of, take a look here. And I'm okay with replacing these. I actually already have, since I do electronics repair, and I also build electronic stuff, Arduinos and everything. I actually have LEDs. I've done a lot of CB radio upgrades and stuff, removing the lights, the yellowish incandescents. I replace them with blue or white or red LEDs for people, stuff like that. Real as an aside, on that drone right here, this is actually a flight control board for it. This one, I don't remember whether it's this one or the other one. I've got 2 spares that somebody sent me when it was having problems. We were trying to diagnose. Everybody thought it was a flight control board. He said, hey, you know what? I've got a couple of them here. One, I believe it works, and the other one needs a part replaced. It's this part right here. And since I've got the ability to actually, replace that and swap it to the other board. He's like, hey, this could do that and whatnot. So, give me just a moment here. Yeah, it's so I was sent some boards to mess with. Turned out not to be the flight control board, but I did it's these components here on the actual drone, but they're components just like this here and that. These little guys here, and I did not use the heat gun. I used straight micro soldering tip, and that's what I did. So Anyway, let's go ahead and get this bad boy back together here. Let me look at this. Is this? Oh, this goes the other way, and you can tell because right here, those right there, this hits this further back. This is like right up front, so that's going to hit that. That's how we know which direction. Let's go ahead and actually tuck these wires in here a little better. Here's that one. Go ahead and get this. You know, use wood or something whenever possible. And this is bamboo. I actually didn't send the package of it because this is one with the from Hobby Lobby with the alligator clip. But you can get the you can go to Dollar Tree and get the longer ones. You know, they're the barbecue bamboo skewers for shish kebab and whatnot. I use those a lot. But this was small and it's sitting right here, so we'll just go with that. And now we can go like this. I believe this is the right direction. Yep, and that looks good. And it just kind of snugs right on down. And that's it. It's just a, you know, it's a press fit, pretty much. And that's, yeah, that's it. It's just a slip fit right there. And we can go ahead and put the fuel tank back on here, just like that. That's double-sided tape and a slip fit. And then these right here also are a slip fit. So we are going to go like this. Let's see, they are like that because they got the steps facing up. So there are little channels right there that these actually go into, so make sure to get those in there. Put this on because this is going to have to go up and, oh wait, no, this goes like this. I'm sorry, that was my bad. It's upside down. There we go, the steps are on that side, but again, slip those through there very carefully. And these will actually press. There are little holes right here, or holes here, and dowels there. They don't go on very far. So we can almost. Come on, everybody. Get in there. This is not the easiest thing in the world. This is definitely a lot more difficult than it looks. There we go. One side. Now let's get the other up in there. There. That is definitely a lot more difficult than it looks. It looks like it's going to be extremely easy. And not that it's like, you know, super duper like difficult. It's not. It's definitely not so easy. I mean, if you don't care, you can break those things off, but I do care. I like those. I like that extra fine detail. So there's that. This is a Great Northern. It actually looks really good. We only broke that one tab. It was an inconsequential tab. I forgot to put a screw in like a jackass. So I am actually going to put that, since I am not going to be running this anytime real soon, I am actually going to go ahead and put that in here, because there is in here a bag that actually has spare stuff in it. And I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to stick this right back in here. Close this up here. And then we're going to go ahead and put this beautiful locomotive right back in here where it's supposed to go. And we'll go ahead and put these here. I'll move those temporarily. And